April 27th, 2013. This is scheduled to be the very last video of the construction of the new MBTA/MART Intermodal Station/Garage. And we're starting not far off from where we were last time, as we always do in these recap videos, is that they've got brick for the elevator shaft, and as we can also see, they've also started to build said elevator shaft. Might be a little hard to see here because it is kind of the way the sun is, plus I can't see the viewfinder. They've extended the scaffolding up a little further because they're roughly 12 feet done with it. And now that I've seen some more of the construction, I have figured out why we got these little bolts sticking out of the steel, and that is because they are going to lay down rebar on top of the corrugated steel. And we're coming towards a section of it right now, which is right over here. We've got a couple of pieces done. They got a long ways to go. There's a piece of it, well, we'll start with this one right here, and a piece of it right over here, as you can see. And they're going to go through this whole thing on all three decks. Oh, what fun. This will get done sometime in the summer. It was supposed to, the whole thing's supposed to have been done about maybe now or a month from now. Not happening. And of course we still have the plumbing that's completed, or almost completed. There's still some runs they haven't finished yet, like over there. And over on the far end that I've pointed before, they started to do that as well. There's other things we can't see on this side either, so we're going to go on the other side of the garage and show them to you. We got a couple of points of interest here up front. It's really hard to see, but right about here or so, I think I got it. They've started the electrical work. Yeah, there's the electrical box appearing at the very bottom of the fence. So some of the major electrical work is being done. And over there, I'm not sure if I'm getting it or not. I can't really see my viewfinder, but in there somewhere. No, next one over. Yeah, right in there. They finished the work over there, the plumbing. Some still haven't gone all the way to the top level yet. Oh, one more thing over yonder. Here we are at the front, again, light and shadow. When you look at this part, you don't see much of anything happening. Here's the brick in the elevator shaft again. And that is as far as they got. So that's the update for now. And let's see what happens a little later. May 18th, 2013. And there is progress, even though if you drive by, it looks like nothing has ever happened. Outside of this elevator shaft, which is now almost gone completely to the top of the top level, but not to its full height, because they have to be at least around 10 feet between the landing of the top floor and the roof. So over the past couple of weeks, that is the most obvious thing that they've done. And they haven't, as you can see, the openings are rough. They haven't cut any half blocks for it yet. And I've noticed, and I don't know if I did point this out in the last update, is they've put steel beams to further supplement the existing structure on just this portion. And upon thinking about it, and the fact that they haven't done it anywhere else, is because the cars are going to be parking this way in this little section. You notice there isn't really a lot of support for that kind of weight versus over here where they're parking you know, towards the center or from it, you got beams that are supporting the weight there, but not here till they added those. And I thought they were putting in rebar for the floor, but apparently not, because those are the same ones that were down at the bottom where I last showed you. So that's apparently for something else. Then again, with the corrugated floor, I don't know why they would need rebar. And it's really hard to see, but yeah, it's exposing itself pretty clearly now. They're starting to permanently hang the lighting fixtures, and that's pretty much the only notable progress. They have not gone to the upper levels yet to start hanging, so it's all just down here right now on the lowermost level. In fact, if we just go a little more this way, and before we even talk about that, we got this pipe over here. Wonder what this is for. That runs all the way to the top. I think it might be for an electrical conduit. You would think water, but it wouldn't go above the top level if that were true. Anyway, throughout the bottom, at least where they, for the time being, we do have our light fixtures, although they didn't hang the third one. Sorry about the cockeyed angle there. This is as far as they got on this side. And here they kind of are on this side. And we'll zoom in on one of them because they have a strange yellowish mirror-like. They got some strange yellowish stuff, some sort of reflective coating on the mirrors. Anyway, let's go to the front. This actually shows up quite a bit better there. Alright, before we head to the front, I see we got concrete block over here. So my guess is they're going to actually start doing something with this stairwell that just seems to sit here and mean absolutely nothing. I still don't know how this is going to work. Not sure if there's going to be a landing right at the edge or it's going to protrude out, because as you can kind of see, there's you see the lip there for pouring the concrete. There's none where that is, so that's something that'll reveal itself. And at the elevator shaft, there's still nothing with the stairs either. The stairs and ramp there, nothing done. Nothing really done inside the bus stop either. And they're starting to do more conduit work over here. And now we'll go to the front. Alright, here we are at the front. As you can see, or maybe not, I don't know. Viewfinder can only tell me so much. Nothing really going on there, but once you hit the parking garage portion, it is visible from what I can see. The parking garage starts here on the first floor and is continuous on the second and third. But as you can see, they have indeed started with the lights. They are sort of visible. And on this lower level, it does go the whole distance all the way to the front. And we're not going to go that far with this video. Just showing you that there is actual progress. If you drive by and think nothing's happening, things are indeed happening. And yes, even from here you can see they haven't reached the upper levels. May 31st, 2013, we are starting at a slightly different location than normal. We're looking at the elevator shaft. It has been completely finished. As you can see, they have gone all the way to the top. They have not yet put a roof on it. This is a relatively new completion. They have also started on the wall for the stairs. I wonder how the edges are going to be treated. Anyway, I've also noticed we got a couple of holes right here. I believe the bottom one might be where the hydraulic fluid comes into the hydraulic pump. Not exactly sure what the top one is for. It's kind of an odd place for it to enter and exit, but I have seen configurations of that kind. Anyway, you're not going to see a lot on this side of the project because there hasn't really been much in the way of completion over here. I mean, you can see tons of block down there. Well, sort of. And you know that barbed wire, not barbed wire, rebar configuration we've seen way down there, and then up here, that small stuff, that was actually a template for them to put in storm drains. As you can see here, they've pretty much done that. As you can see, the one closest to us a little out of position, but they generally got them in where they want them, roughly the grade of where the concrete is going to go. There's no new news on the lighting, as you can still see the chains that are positioned and ready to go. There is not really much forward progress on the lights. There are a couple of fixtures on the next level up, but that is pretty much it in terms of that. Nothing else has been done in the bus station portion of this garage. So now that it's still more quote-unquote hidden work that you don't normally see. So they're still working on some of the lighting. They're putting in drainage grates along the levels. And right around here or so, it's going to be hard to see if we can get them. There we go. Yeah, they're starting to put the chains in for the upper level lights. And like I said, there are some fixtures installed on that level, but not really visible from here. However, we do have visible improvement along the front, and we are going to go there next. Here we are along the front, and the visible change that you can see here is they're starting to do the final work on the exterior. And as you can see, in this case, it's the brick detail. And we got plenty more brick ready to go there. And as we go along, I'm stepping in people's bushes, not a good thing there. I don't want to ruin property, And there's the elevator shaft again. And as we can kind of see, if I move this way, it's a little easier to see it. If I can find it, there it is. We even got a little too close. That's a steel frame for the windows that are going in the stairwells. Obviously that piece isn't one of the bendy sections, but I think it's in one of those sections there. So that's what we've got for an update right now. And I was positive there were a couple of lights installed on the upper portion. I'm not going to go too much farther with this. Oh yeah, I didn't show, but there are fire alarms being installed as well. No, I can't see them. There are literally a couple in there, and that'll be it for this little update, not the episode. June 21st, 2013, still in the it looks like nothing's ever happening phase, when in fact things really are. One of the few subtle signs of progress is they have started on the elevator machine room, where the hydraulic pump station and everything will be, as well as the landing for the future stairwell, which in terms of the wall, they never really got any higher than where they pretty much were the last time. And they've started work on a decorative wall, and as you can kind of see, they've reached the full height here. It's not worth showing because it's not much, but they've reached the full height on maybe a third of the spans. Nothing new in lighting and drainage systems, but most of their time is now being tied up on prepping the surface to receive concrete, and they're getting very close to doing that. It's really hard to see, and pardon the camera movement, I'm going to raise it up. You can see inside each groove they are putting in either a piece of rebar or a piece of rebar with some with a coil for which the concrete will grab onto. That's pretty much it. That's all there is to show. July 15th, 2013, still somewhat in the it looks like nothing's ever happening here phase, but as I've been saying, things are happening. For example, we'll get a look at it out front. They're doing the brick up to the next level, but not going past because they want to do concrete pour, and if we continue those walls up, it will restrict the ability of the cement trucks to reach where they're going to want to pour. Anyway, we got further progress on the machine room for the elevator. I think they've gone as high as they're going with that, because it looks like an end cap to me that's shaped to look like it's part of the brick wall. And finally, they've decided to start work on this brick wall where the stairwell is going, and of course it's going to go all the way up there. The elevator shaft has a roof and a membrane on top of it right there, but there's still nothing going on in the elevator shaft as of yet. Anyway, the part where it looks like nothing's ever happening but actually is quite evident here. Remember the rebar that they were starting to lay down? Well, more like it's almost all laid down now. As we can get a good look at what it looks like, we'll zoom in just to see some of the farther sections there. As you can see, there is a slight pattern where there's more and less in various locations. So they got it laid down on these levels, and probably most of the upper ones, I'm not 100% sure. And here's what the more the dense and lesser dense portions look like up close and personal. And in terms of the elevator shaft, it doesn't look like, pardon the camera movement, everything's a little out of alignment. Doesn't look like anything's really going on in there. Not 100% sure on that. Not 100% sure if I can get a good look inside. We're going to find out. Wrong way. We turn the knob. We turn up the exposure to see that it's still pretty much empty walls in there. Well, it ain't time to turn it over to an elevator company quite yet. My guess, knowing Leominster and the MBTA, it's likely Tyson Krupp. So let's go out front and see what it all looks like. Well, before we head over, it looks like we got some progress here on this stairwell that it doesn't look like anything's happened. I mean, it's still the same platform with nothing really on it. And the platform to the train station still not poured yet, which I think they'll do the same time they do all the floors for the decks. However, we do have scaffolding appearing in the middle, so it looks like they're going to start. And I don't know if I can see it, but yeah, you're gonna have to trust me, but there are some skids with regular concrete block on it, which will be the walls for that particular stairwell. And that is what we got for you right now. Alright, we're on the southern side. As you can see, no concrete poured, nothing done here yet. Like I said, when they do the decks, they're going to probably do all this stuff. Anyway, right here is what one of the lights in the bus station looks like. I don't know why they just did one, but that's what they did. And there's the front. And that's where this segment for the day is going to end. We are out on the front, and there are 5 sections or 5 spans that are receiving a steel look, not these 4. I totally forgot about the 5th one being the other entrance to the main garage. And there is a little brick detail right there. And right over here, nothing more to see but what you got right now. That's the exterior wall. Once again, not going past the 2nd floor because they want all the room for the boom arms of the concrete trucks to have as much sway and maneuverability as humanly possible. Once all that's done, they're going to continue these all the way up to the railings up there, and in the middle spans will be steel plates that go from there to there, and then from there to the top to make the railing. I don't know how they're going to handle these gaps in between, but it looks very unfinished. Then again, they probably do have something in mind. It's just not really visible in the blurry drawings that are available for the general public to see. But it looks very unfinished, and you're on the other side, you can see right through them. There you go. But it's not really bad looking. I mean, we got the nice little windowsill type detail there. That looks pretty good. And we're waiting for cars to pass because I ran out of sidewalk pretty much. And I have no idea how they're handling this little piece here. In the drawings, that actually doesn't show up, but there it is, right there in the flesh, or in the raw, or in the steel. And here's what the elevator shaft looks like from the front. And they got the main entrance all done up to the 1st floor, and they're kind of starting. It's hard to see. They're kind of starting the detail there. I think they're going to look like quote-unquote fingers of sorts. No window trim or anything in the stairs or the landings as of yet. And that's the update we got now. In a week or two, maybe more, we'll see what happens. August 7th, 2013. We're still in the part that I like to refer to as it looks like nothing's ever happening phase, but actually is, and we will be showing you that. First off, it does almost look like nothing's happened here. The machine room is still pretty much right where it's been the whole time. And right now they're getting ready to make the landing for this stairwell here. And speaking of this brick, they've finally gone all the way to the top and put a layer of brick at the very top over there. And there is something to show you here inside the garage. And that is, and I'll go a little further this way because it's easier to show, is that we have concrete. It's ever so slowly being poured. They've started on that process. And there's a little room, storage room or facilities room down there. It too now has a concrete roof on it. And over here on the 1st floor, it's really hard to see, but you kind of see there are sections of pipe that are laid out on the floor. Apparently this is how they're using that to screed the surface smooth. And so they take a very flat object, run it between the pipe and this outer beam over here, and make a initial smooth surface to start with. And over in the elevator shaft, it doesn't look like much of anything is happening there yet, but if we hit our exposure and head the right way, you can see they're starting to make some headway there. There's couple of metal pieces in the doorway itself that's there. And in terms of the shaft, it doesn't look like anything is being done there just quite yet. So they're just starting that. And we got a little further up the way here. Stay off form, as they're getting ready, as I've mentioned, to concrete this section up. I guess they've started at the very top, which makes a lot of sense. Get the hardest part out of the way. There's 2 more sections of brick over there, and I have looked at other MBTA projects, and the spaces between the brick and the steel, that'll be caulked. That'll be the finished look. And I've always wondered why there is a gap there. Is the stairwell going to protrude out? Nope. The gap is there because that's where they're going to have the decorative brick wall. I am assuming that there will be a thin layer of brick. I've seen them use that on other parts of the building or parking garage, whichever, where the beams are, so this will look like a solid brick wall. There is nothing on the inside, as you can see there. It's still just a form, nothing, no steel added, nothing done. They're waiting till the concrete is all done, then all that wonderful stuff will start again. And that's pretty much all we really have to show right now. So let's see what happens about maybe mid or a little after mid-month. August 23rd, 2013. And from the looks of things, it still almost looks like nothing's been done, except now that I've pretty much shown you something that has been done. We now have a stairwell in what is probably the main stairway. Of course, no floors, no finished step work. In fact, you can see that there's a couple of inches of nothingness below each tread to receive concrete. I'm sure that'll be the finished work. And what you can see driving up is they now have the parking garage lights installed halfway up the second level in terms of the other side, because if you remember, this is the first level coming up down below this level and up to here. Then on that side it's level 2 all the way to there, and then when you get to there it's level 3 to here. And of course another thing you noticed is the concrete. There you have it. And as we walk through, or just go over here a little bit, you can see that it's still curing on this side. As you can see, it's a little more grayish where there are the expansion joints, and still a little dull colored in the center. So not exactly cured yet. And around midway up that second level is where the lights currently stop. They are not installed up there just yet. In fact, here you can see they got the hangers, but no lights. And over yonder, we got the other stairwell. We'll show you that right now. And over here, they've pretty much finished the shaft for the secondary stairwell, which dumps directly onto the platform. What you can't see, and it's not really worth pointing out, is they just put on the corrugated metal roof, so there's work to do like capping and such. And again, I'm looking at the tracks so I don't fall into them. So you can see there, and we just pan down, you can see that on these 2 levels, and likely the basement, which you can't see, that the wall doesn't go all the way. Similar to the one in Fitchburg, the secondary stairwell, The second half is partially exposed. Now in this case, it's probably going to be enclosed in glass for those two levels and the basement, which you really can't see, but it is there. However, on the other side, we can see the stairwell being prepared. I don't think there's an actual staircase put in yet. Let's go and see. Right about there is where they ended with the lights on the second level, which is a lot further along than I thought. Anyway, right here, just short, oh, we're gonna move for somebody. Just short of where this bus terminal is, we can see the next stairwell a little too much, but there isn't much to see. There are no stairs in it yet. They're just putting in the landings, and that's all we got for you in actuality for now. So in a couple of weeks, come back and see what we got here. And yes, I found out that brick is supposed to exist. Well, I thought it was done, but just before we go, as they're putting up the brick, they're going to continue now that the floors have concrete. You can see along the spans right there in the very middle, right there, we got pieces of metal that will receive the metal siding, for which will make up the windows and the railing on the top. So we get that much, and now I will say that is it until a couple of weeks from now. October 4th, 2013, and according to the newspaper, about 3 weeks to go, and this thing is supposedly going to be wrapped up, and we will have a ribbon cutting ceremony. Not sure if I'll be part of that or doing a walkthrough roughly at that time. Fingers crossed on that one. Anyway, there seems to be quite a bit to do in those last 3 weeks, which is quite a bit. Although right now I see right here they're starting to do the framework for the windows and doors and going into that stairwell. As you can see, they have the brick done, which you can't see inside, although it's been shown quite a few times. We have the alarm system, the lights, fire suppression system. Can't wait till we get a sidewalk again, which is over there, not even poured yet. You can see sort of inside. And we're doing this sort of in reverse order because, one, there's no train service on Saturday, so can't really come here. They will throw you out of the station. And talkie, copyright WMG. Thanks, WMG, for making life a living hell. WMG, I'm not sure if we've cleared it enough. And they have the American flag, where this arched beam decorative part will be done at some point. Echo. You can hear my voice echoing through the garage. Yeah, so if they're gonna make it, they're gonna have to rush. And over here, if we can zoom in, so you can see they are getting the stairs for this secondary stairwell completed. There's a little bit of the electrical work and suppression systems and what have not. What's missing still? The lights on the very top. And the caulking or whatever they put between beams and the brick walls, that's still not there either. They finished the brickwork. For this is going to be steel. Supposedly they're going to be steel panels in between this. But what I see on the other side, I hope isn't really the finished product. Anyway, let's go to the other side. Over here we have the bus terminal side of things. It's a little grainy because it's getting dark at night now. They've started to put in the curbing, but as you can see, the islands are still all dirt. And I Nope, they never poured the concrete for the ramp or for the stairs. I still see the forms there. No need to show you any more of that. Anyway, over here they're stretching cables to put the fencing up. I really hope that's not the finished thing. I could see that being a liability, especially that point right there. It's probably going to have an end cap on the top, as you could see someone tripping and getting poked on that. So there's quite a bit more to do. We'll look at it a little later from the other side when the station is empty. We're on the other side. No one's here yet, so I have been blessed with the ability to do this part before it gets a little too dark. Anyway, a little closer up. This is part of the railing system, so I hope it's part. Nice design, but like I said, an end cap along the top, so pointy ends like that don't become a liability issue. Now, from what I understand, on that side there's supposed to be tan panels. I don't know if that's just a misprint or that something was changed and the MBTA cheaped out. Anyway, one of the things we will not be able to see without the help of the mighty Phoenix is the elevator shaft. 3 weeks to go for the tentative opening, and there is no elevator. And let's put this light on. There we go. We're going to zoom on into the shaft, and we can see there's absolutely nothing there at all. But elevators don't take terribly long to install anyway. I've seen a building, it takes them like maybe a week or two. Over here they still have formed the landings for the concrete. Over there we can see that they got rebar just waiting to receive concrete. And over, let me go around this pole. Over there, same story. And the gaps along the walls, they're still not filled in yet. It's probably a quick job anyway. What you may not have noticed, because I didn't really put a lot of attention onto it, is we got the membrane on top of the elevator machine room. The elevator machine room itself is done. They just got to put the final metal roof on it, same as the elevator shaft up there, as well as the little building that's inside right there, as well as the secondary stairwell way over there. It is. It's hard to see, but that ribbon there is the membrane. So that's what we've got for you for now. Next video, it's going to be very close to the home stretch. October 18, 2013. Not much to show you here. Might be something on the other side, but as we can see here, they finally framed in all the glass and doors, at least on this side, as well as polishing off the roof structure for the elevator shaft, stairs, stairwell over there, and the elevator shaft down there. That's all I can see from this side. Let's see what's on the other side, if anything. The stairs and handicapped ramp are still unfinished. However, we see rebar over here. That means it's probably likely. Also, what I haven't shown you is there is a sidewalk going along the front. So that's what we can see from here. Now let's see what we can see all the way up there. It's a bit tough to see, but along the gaps along the inside, yeah, it's kind of hard to see. I don't know if it's showing up, but they're putting the fence walls in. They're similar to those there, although I still don't like that point. I'm hoping there is a legit handrail going over that. I see it as a liability. Also, what we can see here, well, can't really see here, is the elevator. They're starting to do work on that. Thing is, it's all covered, so I don't know what it is. So those of you guessing for over a year as to what brand and fixture type, we don't know. And if we go a little further this way, we can see maybe the reason that they started doing all this work is that they finally poured the concrete for these landings. Yeah, we can see it here. Yeah, you can see right there. You can sort of see it. Nah, I don't think they did it down there. Either that or it's just so dark. Yeah, it is. They did it. They're all done. Now it's just a matter of filling in the gaps, which they did with the windows. But yeah, apparently they've filled in the gaps between the walls too. I'm going to zoom in a little tight. I don't see it, but it appears they might have done it along the insides. I think they should have done it on the outside as well. Also hard to see, they finished the roof on the stairwell over there. And the roof that's on the little outbuilding down there. So that's the update we got for now. Either the next update will be the home stretch or another periodic update. November 20th, 2013. Sorry if you see my hand, I'm shielding the sun. And this is the supposed home stretch, which I've been saying for quite a while. This project has been delayed so many times due to weather for the most part. And I think the government shutdown did it as well. Anyway, over here we got the no windows in the front ones, but the rest of them do, except not the ones on the side. Well, actually, I can see glass there and there, none there and there. But that's something that's coming along. We have finished stairs, which I can't get a good angle of. There we go. Yeah, we can kind of see the railing system. And it's hard to see because we really can't, but they got the lights up for the uppermost level. Okay, construction crews came from above and I aborted. I didn't want them thinking that something weird was going on. Anyway, as I was saying, they did install the elevator. Not 100% sure what kind it is. It's hard to hold it still. It could be Kone or ThyssenKrupp. They both use that kind of door frame. I think it might be ThyssenKrupp. And they did a half-assed job of marrying the elevator to the opening that they were provided. It's a single slider, we know that much for sure. And after that, I want to show you the stairwell over here, which, again, we're going to bypass some crews right now. So, it's kind of chopped up. There's nothing more to really see on the inside. Yeah, well, actually there is, but we'll show you that when we get there. The bus station part is structurally completed, but handrails and what have not, no. Anyway, there's the railings for the stairs, just so you get an idea of what they look like. And it repeats. I still see no cap on these fences, so Not 100% sure if that's the actual design or not. Anyway, I'll show you a little later. There's the pad. They pretty much all poured in that. We'll show you when we get to the other side. On this end, we can clearly see that we've got the handicapped ramp poured. The stairs are also poured. You don't see that quite yet. When we do our front shot, we'll show that. But you see there are no railings as of yet. They have, I'll pick a hole here. They've done a second coat of asphalt pavement, yeah, over this because there was an island there. Now it's gone. And there was an island way over the side and it's gone. And you might notice you can see a piece of paneling right in the center. They've done quite a bit of the paneling on the front. Once again, when we go there, we'll show that to you as well. Those are the stairs. No railings yet. And they've been starting the steel work for the railings along the upper levels. There's one set there. You see it doesn't go all the way that way or all the way to that beam there, because that's where that arch goes, so that's where it intersects. And this is roughly what the paneling job looks like. Now, if you remember the picture I've shown you a while ago, which was in one of the videos, there is a slight change here. The panels for the second floor do not extend below pretty much the ceiling of the first level. Guess that's a design change, which in a way benefits the first level by making it a little brighter. And it kind of makes things look a little odd and a little out of scale. But that's personal opinion. On both sides of the garage where the entrance and exits are, I'll show you that one right there. They've put up the MART banner. There we go, just hold it with left hand, it's a little more steady. They've also done that over there on that side. So let's just, as I walk by, let's get a quick look. Actually, I think that's pretty much all you're going to see. But we'll look anyway. And we'll cut it here. Okay, we're in the front. From here you can kind of see, if you remember the picture, lights that are way smaller than what was pictured. But if these are like the LED ones that I'm not sure. They're probably not. They're probably standard bulbs. They probably work just as well as a large fixture that they pictured. There's the entryway to the stairwell and elevator, which still does not have a window. There's still some missing glass along this side as well, but that's pretty much it. And I've said this many a times, outside of this driveway being finished here. I've said this many a times. Hopefully the last segment will be the walkthrough, because it's done. It's supposed to be done by now. December 7th, 2013. This is almost done. We got this parking lot here that's all painted up, which looks nice, and apparently they're doing construction on Saturdays. I find it interesting that they put a no parking or non-existent parking spot there instead of where the door is. Just kind of interesting. Also, if we step back a little bit and try to be out of this guy's field of view, plus this offers a better view anyhow, we can kind of see that it's really, as I keep saying every time, heading towards the final stretch. Now, I still see no glass in the windows directly in front of us. I'm assuming they left it like that so that they can haul stuff into the garage structure easily, should I say, instead of trying getting it through the small slits. And as you can sort of see, and we'll look at it again at the bottom, they've put up the panels And the blue looks a little, it kind of almost doesn't look like it belongs in my personal opinion, but I mean, doesn't look all that bad. What does look kind of bad is it appears that these blue sections were hastily installed. As you can see here on the upper half, the back edge seems to meet the wall, whereas at the bottom it's attached to the back of the wall, so it's all crooked. Kind of looks hastily done. There appears to be gaps between the panels, which seems to be okay, because what you might not be able to see behind them is a railing. So I mean, that'll be fine. And if we go on over as we walk across, we'll see another improvement. Well, I shouldn't say improvement. Well, progress-wise, is they've painted the parking lot spaces. I'm not sure what this concrete section here is. I know there's storage here, so I don't know why they needed all that, but just an observation. And of course we got painted lines inside. We'll get a better look at it further up. What I find interesting, and I'm not sure how well this is going to appear as I shift the camera upwards, is it appears that the two-way traffic is along the wall and not along the inner edge. I would figure you'd put the spots next to the outer wall so there's more daylight. Again, it's just an observation. It's on the plus side, you don't have as many people going over to the railing over there. And speaking of, just to prove my point, they've put railings along the edge, so the spaces between the panels and the walls are pretty much not an issue. As we go along this way, just a little bit, next to the elevator, if I can't really see what I'm doing. I'm just guesstimating things right now. They're really getting close because they're putting up the signs, park and pay at the machine located at Stair Towers. This is one of them. There is no pay machine. I think for the first few weeks that this is open, they're going to let people park for free. And speaking of these railings, they still don't have a cap on top of them. The drawings state that there will be one. And we're going to stop for a moment and check out the other side. Over here at the bus terminal, there's still no railings on the handicap ramp or the stairs, but, you know, that's still a work in progress. They've painted up the driveway here, and we can see now where people can stand safely. And they have a couple of parking spots right there. Also, if we go a little further along this way, they're getting close to construction workers here. We have one-way traffic flow and a couple of other parking spaces. But that's for the MART side of things. Next up, we're going to go up front and see how it all looks. We are now up front, and this actually does look fairly nice. The only thing I've mentioned is, I didn't quite mention fully, is I think the color blue that they used could have been slightly lighter. It would match the tan a little better, but still, actually, after warming up to it, it doesn't really look too bad. As we can see here, this is one of the issues of the darker blue. We got MART and the T logos. They don't quite pop out. Although next to that tan transparent grid, it might actually work keeping it the way it is. And of course we got the American flag flying in the wind. And over here, it looks like they were just one course of brick short of goal. But then again, just minor nitpick, no big deal. And over here, we have the main stairwell, which I'm zooming into. They have the railings done on the stairwells themselves, but no outer railings. I mean, again, that's still something that they're working on. The overall aesthetics they're actually pretty nice. The only thing that, just personal taste, if they kept to the drawing, were these second story panels. If they came down a little lower, the top is where they're supposed to be, but if the bottoms were a little lower, the garage would look a little less top heavy. That's just about it there. Let's look at it from the front. Here we are at the front, and I'll take something back that I said. As I was walking by, I mentioned that it was attached nicely at the top and poorly at the bottom. It actually is not attached quite yet. And several panels, I don't know if it's showing up. Yeah, there it is. There's a little tab that sticks out. I believe there's going to be some physical structure attached to it, because according to the original design, there's supposedly going to be a crossbeam that goes across the arch. So, yeah, I was wrong on that one. I mean, overall, this is a nice looking garage. And one thing I forgot to point out is at some point a beam fell out right there in the right there in the middle. So, well, I'm sure they know about that. Still no window in the first floor door there. And that's where I thought that the no space would have been put for easier access. So that's this update, and as I've kept saying, and I keep saying over and over again, next one, hopefully, knock on wood, will be the finished product and a little walkthrough.
January 10th, 2014. This project is dragging on forever. In fact, when I started this particular segment, it was supposed to only last for 3 months. This whole thing was supposed to have been completely finished by mid-October. Then, of course, there were the government shutdown delays, bond issue delays, and during the summer, weather-related delays because it was too hot, then it might be too rainy. They just couldn't catch a break on this thing. So, even still, it's not done. I'm not even sure how far along they've come. They forgot to shut the lights off, but as we can kind of see, I know the camera's kind of exaggerating things a bit, but it appears that these lights do a very good job of lighting it up. Granted, here on the first/second and second/third above, only one set of lights are lit, which is why it looks darker. But for one lousy set, let me move the camera. One lousy set, it's pretty bright actually. And I've been in garages where the entire lighting setup is barely any better than just the one row that's lit right there. So, I mean, we got that much going for it. There's things that they have completed. Now, like I said, I was planning that this would be all done in late August, early September, but I don't know what's going on with this thing. They're still going at it, and I would not be the least bit surprised if this last video segment actually comes out a year after the last segment. I mean, it's going so pathetically slow, I wouldn't be the least bit shocked. So, also due to the length of this segment, as I've edited everything in up to this point, is that I'm not going to include a walkthrough in this final segment. That'll be a segment all by itself. So yes, there will be a walkthrough. So, I'm not going to show you anything that they have done outside of what you might be seeing now, and as you can see, it is fairly well lit, because there's so much, or should I say, so little from here to the finish, it's not worth it, because then when it's officially open, the last segment won't be worth anything. So at this point, I'm just going to cut it and tell you, no clue when this last segment will be done. Absolutely none. November 17th, 2014, just a quick update, just to show you that this is what it looks like when it's all lit up. And this is the tall floor, and it is pretty bright. The camera is making it a little better than what it really is, but it's not really all that much different on the upper levels. And like I said, I'm not going to show you any improvements till the end, and I really do hope that this is not the final railing. We'll find out when it's all done, and then the next video, as I said before, will be a walkthrough. March 7th, 2014, I've waited long enough for this, and I'll explain more. I'm going to call this completed, because technically, from what I understand, this parking garage is pretty much done. Only problem? It's closed. Had a little bit of a hiccup here. It seems that the contractor who's building this garage has run into financial difficulty, which is one of the reasons why this 4-month segment has stretched almost a year in length. Also, from what I've read, all it needs now are a few more signs and the elevators to be inspected, and it's all good. I see quite a few problems with this, and most of it falls under two categories. One being this quote-unquote railing, which is really hard to see. Let me turn on the light. There we go. So we can see here, it's not this mesh that's the problem, but let's see, can I get on one that's really, it's kind of washing out, but we have these metal ties that, while that one looks pretty much okay, we got some that have, really sharp burrs in it. Oh, especially right there, there's a sharp burr. Anybody running their hands along here, you'll gouge your hands. Also, what I've noticed, and hopefully when they finish this garage, it's something they'll address, is on every landing, and especially around here, there, notice something missing? No fence. This is pretty much a death just waiting to happen. If you remember the incident where a kid fell to his death at Auburn Mall in Auburn, Mass, falling through a gap in the escalator railings, this is double that size. I mean, that's got to be fixed. And these really needed a railing on top. I mean, it's one of the things that this company that built this garage is really known for is sub-quality work, which really does show in this garage, and I'm sure throughout this video and some of the previous ones we have seen everything. And here's another so-called finished handrail. I mean, if the deck has ice on it, which it does, and I'll show you, you slip and fall. You want your head hitting that? I don't think so. And here's the case in point, ice and snow, which one could fall on.
So the only thing different, which is why I'm doing it at night and not really giving a rat's ass, is some more signage. They've also painted some, lanes, travel lanes in the middle. The parking spaces were pretty much good. And on the elevator, which you will not be able to see, they've painted signage stating what floor you're on. And yes, they've went with the European numbering system, meaning ground 1, 2, and 3 up at the very top. And of course they went with that because this is built into a hill and you couldn't have a full-sized floor directly underneath unless you wanted to really make a massive project and dig out the hill, which they apparently never wanted to do. So, no proper railings anywhere. And I got a few other things to show you as well. And we'll pick it up over there. Alright, we're here at the Intermodal part where the buses stop. See those railings right there? I mean, it's really hard to see because it's dark. These are the only proper railings that exist here at the Intermodal. And yes, to be fair, on both sets of stairs over there and way over where the elevator is. Otherwise, it's this very improper, half-assed, let's just stretch some webbing across and call it a railing, quote-unquote railing. Really pathetic, I'm sorry to say. I mean, if they finished it off and put a railing there so you can't come in contact with that, or you'd have to dig for it a little bit, yeah, okay, I get that. Also, notice, and I'm not going to really step beyond here, there is absolutely no railing here, and that's something you could easily climb over and fall a good 5 feet onto that handicapped ramp. And we're gonna need the light. Even more so over here. I mean, that's literally like a few inches off the ground, and you got like an 8-foot drop into the parking lot there, which is not focusing too well on. So yeah, this will be it for the video. Now, that's not to say that this whole series is over. As I said, this one was running long enough that the very last episode, if it happens, will be the walkthrough. And maybe while we're doing the walkthrough, they'll have addressed some of these issues. Also note that, as I've mentioned, they're running into financial difficulty. So this thing has come to a complete halt about a month ago. They still have a few more signs to put up, so I hear, and get the elevator inspection. Until they get their money woes fixed, this is it. The garage is right now an $8 million abandoned building. That's pretty much what it is right now. And people have actually parked in there, snuck inside, just like any old abandoned building, as I can cross the street while it's dark. So, supposedly, from what I read, and I'll use the word allegedly here because I'm going by what I read in a local paper, is that this company is known for hiring subcontractors that are of poor quality and below state standards. And when we do the final walkthrough, you'll see that there's definitely a lot of substandard work here. And the video series as a whole pretty much shows it. Now, I mean, the aesthetic appeal of it is actually not too bad. The problem is how they went about it. For example, there's no expansion compound between any of the steel and the brick, so it just looks like it just looks very incomplete. The only joint that I can see not getting it is the one right there, because that's the major expansion gap. But yeah, this whole thing is pretty much a large abandoned building until the company can get money or the city can do something about this. So there's a lot of sub-quality work done, subpar, issues with subcontractors, all that wonderful stuff that just ruins a project. And quite possibly, like I said, if nobody can solve things, they just spent $8 million on Leominster's biggest abandoned building, pretty much. So, until they finally finish things up, and we'll do the final walkthrough, and hopefully they'll address these issues. Georgia 551 saying, hope you enjoyed, and have a good one. Hopefully we'll be back for the last episode.